My name is Shaunda Miles. I'm the playwright, producer, Who Do You Love, a gospel musical. Yeah, let's read just a little bit of the Mo. Yeah, sorry.
We'll need you to have your occupants out by the groundbreaking. That gives you a little over 2 weeks.
Where they supposed to go? Where the people supposed to live?
If you truly are God's people, I suppose he'll see to it that you have someplace to go. Now, won't he? Or else, what kind of God are you really serving?
I think so much has led up to me becoming a playwright. I mean, it's still weird for me to say that because this is the first play that I've ever written. CJ steps toward her and then straightens his clothes in a popping of the collar style and opens the door. Vashti exits and Nisa enters with Eric, the councilman, follows.
She is.
Career, can you read councilman for me, please? Thank you.
Selfish, that's what she is. She thinks she the head of the household. I knew the first time she wore pants to church, something was funny about that woman.
I think, one, being raised in the church. Two, my time at Dartmouth as an undergrad, I actually had the opportunity to study with August Wilson. After the class, he said to me in our exit interview, he did individual exit interviews with each of the students, and he actually said, Shaunda, have you thought about writing? And maybe he said that to many people. Have you thought about writing? Maybe that was his job, but I want to take him up on that in honor of his legacy.
Mo, you must be Hadassah. Bye, Mo. I was in this neighborhood, so I thought I would drop by. Unexpected, huh? Kind of like Mary's pregnancy. Think of what a surprise that was to Joseph. But here I am, just like baby Jesus, in the flesh.
I decided to write about the experience of women and thought that the story of Esther was just perfect in terms of having to make a decision for God above all else.
God.
I don't have a problem serving God. It's his folk I can't stand.
Well, Dessa, now anytime you're looking down on others, you got to think you're up. Now, you can't be mad at the church for what happened to your mama.
I actually met Shaunda Miles in 2011 and just was impressed by her work ethic. She is probably the hardest working person. I thought I worked hard. She is by far the hardest working woman that I've ever met in my life. She is very effective, she's a hard worker, and she happens to be brilliant. She's gone to Ivy League schools. Her undergrad is at Dartmouth, her graduate work was at Yale University, and beyond that, she is just an amazingly humble person. I only happen to know that because I saw the degree that happened to be on the wall.
And I even often asked her, what are you doing in Pittsburgh? But the one thing, our connections, the one thing she said to me, how she believes God put her here for this reason. Maybe she's one of those catalysts to bring that back, that maybe we don't have to go to New York or LA or Chicago or DC, these hot spots where you can expect great performance.
The song actually goes, that's when I promised the Lord that I would hold out and meet him in Galilee.
And lo and behold, months later, she calls me and says, hey, we're doing it. And I said, I'm on. So, I mean, the city needs her. Hope we can keep her for a while. And I think this project's going to be fantastic. You don't want to miss it.
She started telling me about this play that she wrote, this amazing play, and everybody thinks their work is great, right? And so she happened to give me the play to read, and from page one, I was hooked.
Stand there and be pretty. That's your only job, and you can't even do that right anymore. Vash, search the word. Studies have shown that 1 out of every 4 passed to sleep with a member of his congregation. Look at David and Jacob. You may call it cheating, I call it maintaining a biblical worldview.
I mean, I basically have grown up in church, so I guess the play has come about all of my life. But it peaked when I found myself in a particular mega church, and I was looking at some of the people and who were there. And really, it came about when I found myself particularly enamored with a certain minister.
And what we fail to realize, they're not divine. They are just vessels that God uses and chooses to anoint, that they would deliver a message to God's people.
There is a scene where the pastor of the church is at a meeting, and the meeting is filled with all these people that have their own separate agendas. And being a man of God, he should be seeking counsel from the Holy Spirit. And instead, he is allowing these men to whisper in his ear things that should not be.
It shows the humanness of us being Christians and believers, and even how God works with us, where so many people look up to the pastor and the deacons and the associate pastors and all those types of things. It shows their human side.
Amen.
No, but see, I got this middle condition.
A medical condition?
Yes, called negritis, and it don't have nothing to do with this race. Anybody can catch it.
I really want people to be transformed from the show. I want them to be inspired. I just want them to leave entertained, uplifted. I want them to learn something about the character of God, but not in a way that is off-putting. So are there, are any feedback? Because I'm dealing with a lot. Like I say, the thing about the pastor sleeping around. The first lady leaves. We see a different side of the pastor in the beginning. We deal with speaking in tongues, right? And it's a funny way of dealing with it, but some people don't find it so funny in terms of dealing with that. People love it once they leave the building, and they say that was such a great show, but we need upfront people to invest in these type of projects, to make an investment in that side of things.
Actually, it leaves you wanting to know what happens, so that's a good thing. And I don't think any of the jokes are offensive. If you're a church, if you really are a church person, all this stuff happens,
Right.
and it has happened at your church at some point.
I became a producer out of necessity. I believe that there are a lot of images that are portrayed of African Americans, a lot of images that are portrayed about Christians, and this play meets that intersection. It's the story of a Jewish girl, but it's in gospel music. It really is a story about humanity.
And so I think that it would be well worth the time to either come to the play, send some of your friends to the play, or financially support the play in whichever way that you can, because it makes an impact wider than just the play itself.
And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to consider the project, taking the time to find out about the project, to tell someone about the project, and to consider, just giving in support of the project. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope that you'll be able to contribute or even come on out and see the show with us.